should we put in the Discord?
Are we up again?
The mics are...
Yeah, for break, for mics are live.
I saw a TikTok that I meant to send you, and I forgot. I forgot to send it to you, but it was something, and it was really... But it was... Go hug Dragonfly today, because they have the emotional stars of a teenage girl with something else. And it was like this whole thing on TikTok of go hug her. I wanted to send it to you, and I completely blanked in the moment. But yeah, they were like, we need to make an international hug trans day. And then it started like the whole thing where they're like, we just need to make an international trans day. Trauma and stuff like that. It's worth it in the end.
Hello, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, we're live.
We're live!
Hi there! If you're able to hear us right now, we're taking our break a bit early today because for some reason the technical goblins on our end decided to kill our internet connection or parts of our internet connection. So we took advantage of that to give it a minute to sort itself out, and we're going to take a break. But our mics are live, as you've probably noticed, and we like to do this on our break so we can continue to chat with the audience if you guys have any questions, or you can just hear our insane behind-the-scenes rambling of whatever we want to talk about. Which in this case was trans rights, which is always a good topic.
Oh, yeah.
Generally, yeah.
Vectors and such when you're talking about like file formatting and all that.
Well, vectors aren't actually an image, they're instructions on how to construct an image. So
For the end user or for the file?
for the actual file type.
Interesting.
The easiest way to think about it is that a bitmap or PNG or anything like that is like sending somebody a shelf, and a vector is sending the directions on how to build it.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is the main reason that they were used so much is they're scalable, low data density, or high data density, I should say.
Yeah.
It's a very small file type for the kind of image you get.
Like an executable. That's cool.
Huh. But then, you know, it's not just a static thing that can be displayed, it actually has to be run when it's received.
Gotcha.
So.
That's interesting. So that's what all those people on Fiverr are claiming.
What's being claimed now?
Yeah, like Fiverr, everyone's like, I'm a vector artist. And it's like, ah, yes. That.
Yes.
Oh.
Like your little...
My whoop? Uh-oh. Do I have a whoop?
It's kind of got that little bit that Phil Hawk thing going almost.
That's the problem is like, that's me trying to grow out my hair. Is it all grows from the middle and the sides are taking longer? I gotta even everything soon.
Oh, I realized I forgot to show you. I got art this week.
Oh, snap. That's a Final Fantasy version?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. What class is that? Or job?
Dark Knight.
That sounds cool. Okay.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Use black magic and blood magic and run around with a big two-hander, so.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Jeez. Oh man, I just can't justify the subscription fee right now. But like, I do so badly want to get back to Final Fantasy 14.
Simply play a cooler MMO. I say as I play Final Fantasy as well. Called Guild Wars 2.
God.
I played Guild Wars when it first came out.
The first game?
Yeah, and I remember that was like the most revolutionary thing where it's just like, no fees, baby! And
oh, yeah.
I was too young to know what the hell I was doing.
Damn.
I got to
Okay.
I got to the first raid and just kept dying, and people were like, "We're not joining your party anymore."
Guild Wars was kind of a weirdly tricky game because it was kind of almost like deck building to get your abilities right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was classless, right?
Well, you got to pick a combination of a primary and a secondary class, and then you effectively had a set ability list that you combined out of stuff that those two could do with some restrictions on the secondary.
They did
Gotcha.
that. Final Fantasy 11.
Mm-hmm.
Play Guild Wars 2. It's awesome.
Didn't they make a third?
Not yet.
No, they've made a bunch of expansions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And pretty much the base game feels like 2. The expansions feel like 3.
I don't know how Guild Wars works, because I remember there was a game, Anarchy Online, which is still going.
Oh God.
Yeah, right? My memories of Anarchy Online were being in the, like, main city hub, and there were these TV screens that played actual commercials. So I'm just, like, standing there chatting with my friends, like, hey, what's up, yada, and just over and over and over again, Jason Statham in Transporter 2, and I'm just like, I want to watch this movie! But it was brilliant, too! It's like, you're in a sci-fi city, of course they're gonna have ads for movies and Fanta drinks, and...
God.
But I have no idea how Guild Wars...
It's a lot.
works.
It's very simplified in comparison to like Final Fantasy. I think the only complex aspect of that, you can sort of pick your build.
Okay.
Like you don't have to use every ability that's given to you. You can pick and choose.
Yeah, that was my one, I don't want to say gripe, but like, I wasn't super thrilled with playing Black Mage in Final Fantasy 14 because it was like, huh?
There's so many buttons.
It wasn't even that. It was literally, anytime I went into a raid and I didn't do everything in the specific order of like, cast this, get these extra orbs, cast this, switch to ice magic, cast this, and just that little pattern just went the entire raid, and I was just like,
Yeah, it's rotation based.
yeah, it's like, I like this, but not when it's 20 minutes continuously.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trick is to get good at your rotation and then get good at juggling that with everything else the fight is asking you to do.
Right.
It's very
Run out of this
wacky.
danger zone, attack this thing.
As
And,
someone-
and Black Mage is honestly one of the worst ones to learn fights on because the class does jack shit if it can't stand still. And you don't know where to stand still the first time you do those fights.
That's true, I did go down a lot, even when I got, like, decent at it.
Mm-hmm.
But
No,
yeah.
you usually need to play, like, if you're going to be a caster, you need to be like a summoner or a red mage because they're way more mobile than black mages are. And then
Interesting.
once you know the fight, you can play black mage on it.
as someone who does Savage.
You know what I'm talking about.
But Guild Wars 2, it's not really rotation based. It's just press button, kill.
Okay.
But use it, of course, in a more in a smart application.
Right, no, I get there's gonna be strategy to any
Yeah,
game.
some strategy. And then for the longest time, they didn't want mounts in the game. They were like, "This is just a cash grab. We don't want that." And
Yeah.
in the second expansion, they introduced mounts, but with a twist. They have uses, and they're introduced through the story. You don't buy them. The only thing you actually
Okay.
do buy is like cosmetic stuff.
That's okay. So that's how they make money. I was wondering about
It's all
that, but
cosmetic.
I do remember World of Warcraft. It was like this game. I just want a griffin or something. Like and it was this whole thing of like until you were level 60 or whatever. Like they didn't even have microtransactions back then. Really, I think you could buy gold on eBay.
Oh my god.
was like the microtransaction.
That's right.
$60 for 50,000 gold, and then your account got deleted because Blizzard was mad.
Oh, good old RMT. But Guild Wars is probably 2 specifically. It's probably my favorite MMO I've ever played.
That's a good one.
1, in-game Pride Parade.
Oh.
2, several canon gay characters. 3,
Okay.
several canon trans characters. It's great.
That's impressive.
Oh yeah,
That's
they,
genuinely.
ArenaNet is probably the only like company I've ever heard of that I know of that makes games that isn't problematic in some way, shape, or form.
That's cool.
Which is rare.
Yeah, I feel like
Extremely
most
rare.
MMOs you'll get like an androgynous character, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, in Dragon Age Inquisition, they had a trans character in the last game, but it's like,
But Kren,
Small-
Kren.
yeah, but like small side character,
Mhm.
you know, they handled it pretty well. in my opinion, from what I remember from it. But
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Still, but it was still like, you know, you get one tiny little mention of a thing.
Yeah, I
It was
really
like
wish
the
he was romantical at
second
the very
in
least.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
like the second of King Command and Iron Bull's
Yeah.
mercenary
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
I remember them.
And if you do talk to Krem about it or Iron Bull, if
Yeah.
you accidentally, like, if you can select and accidentally insult him, and I accidentally did that, I'm like, oh no! But then
How dare you?
I know, Iron Bull handled it so well. I thought that was super great. He was like, you just gotta be respectful and understanding, man. He's a man. And
Yep.
that's it. And I was like, yeah!
I appreciate things like that, and that's what's super sad. BioWare is like, BioWare, great. Have like no problems with BioWare. EA Games.
Oh, yeah.
I think BioWare they've made a decent amount of missteps with things that they've done with representation and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But I feel like
Dragon Age
that's
is
all.
say what?
I feel like that's all like a profit-based decision. You know,
It is
like
to some degree, but I mean, like the Dragon Age universe is pretty interesting because the whole universe is based around like discrimination kind of thing. Because like in Inquisition, like I played an elf, female, non-religious source like spellcaster, the mage blade kind of thing, because I loved the night mage or whatever, and like that was a great playthrough for me for roleplay reasons and stuff because. Either people hate you for being an elf, they hate you for being a woman, they hate you for being a spellcaster because spellcasters have very complicated history in that setting, or they hate you for not swearing loyalty to Andraste or the Elvish gods, and she's just like, I don't really believe in any of that shit, and like, everyone hates you.
yeah.
I love BioWare for that stuff.
Oh, I do too, and that's something that I've always enjoyed about the Dragon Age universe is it is a little bit more like realistic with that kind of stuff, and like they handled Dorian's story really well with like how he was like persecuted for being gay and stuff like that, and so there was that. I
I'm
forgot about.
excited for the third game.
Say what?
I'm excited for
You mean
the
fourth,
fourth
yeah.
game.
It has been, but we've had the longest break. I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. We have had the longest gap between Dragon Age games ever, and there's still no real signs of progress on Dreadwolf.
They restarted it twice because it was originally going to be a single-player game, and then they revamped it to be like Anthem, and then Anthem crashed and burned, so they
Yep.
revamped it back to single-player.
And we just had two more high-profile departures of BioWare that were some of the last old guard there that wrote some of the original stories, and they're all gone now. So it's like,
It's definitely a, do we actually know if this is going to be any good situation?
I
It's
want it.
hopeful,
I want it,
but-
Dragon Age is my jam, but
At this
BioWare's hurt me
point?
before.
Just give it to Obsidian Games.
What
Give
do
it
they-
to the company that's like they
Knights
just
of the Republic
write-
2, Fallout New Vegas.
They're script-oriented RPG makers. Like they are really, really good.
Yeah.
But before I forget, Guild Wars 2 play it. 3 characters that are all main characters, lesbians, all 3 of them. And in the newest expansion, you go to a gay wedding for 2 of them.
Yeah,
It's great.
their representation is definitely like ahead of everybody else by miles. It feels like.
I still have a lot of time to play video games, so I might do that.
It's
Yeah.
great. I love that MMO.
I've been having trouble getting into MMOs, so I'll definitely give that one a shot
Free to
because I
play.
want to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's
Unless
just-
you buy the base.
It's a
or-
rare gem just because in general publishers still have not, they don't have a good track record with, let alone LGBT stuff. People are getting a little bit better about that, but like especially trans stuff, like almost nobody has done that well except maybe them with,
Oh,
with,
yeah.
with
Not
their
the
mission.
mainstream stuff.
Well, yeah, obviously, like if you get on itch.io or you find a lot of like small indie creators and stuff, of course, there are plenty of people who are LGBT or trans that have made wonderful games that handle the situation perfectly and or are about coming out as something or something. You know,
Have you
there's-
heard of Guilty Gear?
yeah. Oh, I love Guilty Gear.
Oh, yeah.
I was a
You know what's her
Viking
name,
main.
Bridget?
Yeah, Bridget.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
I don't know much about Guilty Gear or her. I just know that she's trans.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
there
that
are
sh-
2 trans characters.
And they've actually, I don't think they've fucked anything up with them. They've been really good with those.
Yeah, they
characters.
just kind of were keeping it more under wraps until it got like, okay, we think it's at a point where we could just say, yes, this character is trans.
Yeah.
because
I-
Gemtune.
I read a post about Bridget saying that she was the first cisgender transgender woman.
Interesting.
Jim Toon, Last of Us Part 2 is also.
If we get into Guilty Gear lore, we're never going back to the game tonight. So
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
we can, yeah. Last
we can just
of
stop
Us,
that right
Last
there.
of Us Part 2. Yes, Jimton, you're right. Last of Us Part 2 had trans representation in it as well. I
it's a trans boy, I think.
have not played that game as much as I need to, so I don't know. I can't speak to that one.
It came out at a
specifically,
bad time.
but- Yeah, it came out as a
Yeah,
bad
I was
time.
not in a rush to play a game about the aftermath of a pandemic in
Yeah.
2020.
I want to.
That
I
was
want
dark
to
opening.
for sure. But that is a great call out. Thank you for
Yeah.
reminding us of that one for sure.
Forgot to add. Put my
But yeah, we could.
In case you don't recognize that it's James from Star Trek.
Oh, that's James. Hi, James. We were just talking about Star Trek earlier. Yes, you guys are going to have to tune in and watch us when we end up doing that, because we all have committed so far to even getting the uniforms for it and everything.
Oh
so we have
my
the uniforms,
God.
the insignias, we have our rank pips.
I love it.
are a nerd.
Are you
Absolutely
just
love
figuring out this out, Ray? After like how long of being in my D&D campaigns?
You've been in a D&D game for how long, and you just now noticed?
Yeah.
No, we just
don't know what
had
that
to
means.
comment about it.
No, red shirt bad.
Not anymore.
Oh, okay,
Red
good.
shirt is command.
Yeah, we got the undershirts that are color. We're doing like the DS9 Voyager era uniforms and stuff, and we found a really good like cheap,
That's a good look. That's a good
cheap
look.
option. Yeah, I love that look. So
If
you'll
it
be-
helps, my dad has cards for Star Trek. Like the
Cards?
old-fashioned cards.
Oh, like
collectible cards.
Yeah, the collectible cards from back in the day and
Culture
stuff like that.
references.
Yeah.
Joe's smiling over there.
Um,
With an
how,
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
I am insulted that you did not know that I was this much of a nerd at this point, right? Like, come on now. Literally have like D&D. Like, not that I can ever show them because they're in an awkward spot, but I have D&D tap.
Gosh, what a
Cyberpunk.
dork.
I know,
Ah.
such a dork.
I'm gonna give you swirly.
I'd like to see you try, small boy.
on you with a step ladder.
Yeah.
Bring it, short king. Nothing but respect, but please try me. All right. Now that's just hilarious, picturing Ray sneaking up on me with a ladder. Oh dear. Yeah, just plunk.
Gotta get on the step ladder before you can suplex Kira.
There you go.
Yeah. Even then, I think it would be more of a "What are you doing?"
Pick up by the scruff of the collar, like no.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it's the opposite of. We're the opposite of Vander and Scalia.
That's really true.
Yeah. Except I'm not anywhere as tall as Vander, but still.
Andrew's a big guy.
Yeah, Vander, big guy, tall guy.
No, we actually we both play Final Fantasy 14. We did a comparison because Ray's character is actually the same height as Vander's, and mine is the same height as Sonny, and Sonny barely gets up to Vander's goddamn waist.
Yep. Yeah, Vander's furblogs can get very tall. They're not thick by any means, or even like a built furblog is not that thick, but they can get very tall. They're lanky, is the way that
He's
I
a
would
lanky
describe
boy.
it. Lanky boy. Yep. All right, we can flip the cameras back on. We're ready to go back whenever at this point. Do we need a count because the mics are on? Oh, we're back! It's like we weren't even gone. Hi, guys. Hi, James. Thank you for hanging out with us during our break as we talked about everything from trans rights to trying to give the GM a swirly. We love leaving the mics on and having great conversation. This is why we just need that game night that we've always been talking about. We just need to sit down and play board games or just hang out and talk and not have to play. That's saying not have to play D&D makes it sound like I don't want to play.
Not have to
D&D,
be in
so-
character.
Yeah, not have to be in character, I suppose.
Don't be professional.
Though don't we all play characters? No.
Less so than I did before estrogen.
Oh yes, we just need to host a trans panel and get over with it. Maybe that's what we'll do at RageCon, is do a trans panel. So,
Hey, I'm one of those.
Wow. All right, jumping back into things. The stream cut out as you were talking to Satari at the site of Matilda's former emporium. She was just describing to you what's in her sort of formal report, that she believes that Matilda pulled the escape hatch switch or used some kind of a teleportation spell to move herself and her shop in the response to most likely a threat. But beyond that, she's kind of reached the limit of her abilities to divine or find any more information out from the current location. So if you have any questions, or we'll kind of just pick up from there because you're still in the former Emporium with Satari.
Let's go head to our lovely friend Son.
Let's update them on this information.
Okay. So you guys make your way back through the busy port of Orishire towards the Guards Keep, which is just a little way out, sort of off-center in this port on its own little island that's connected with a long bridge to the main docks. As you walk through the streets of the very busy port and city, as it's around midday right now, you do hear the town criers and just kind of pick up bits of conversation. It does seem like the talk of the town still very much is what happened at the city of Vinzor, the so-called City of Wonder, where there was, as far as everyone knows, an assassination of the heads of and possibly the entire known family of the Haven Snouts, and everybody's mumbling about it or loudly talking about it in one way or another. The town's newspaper has many articles on it, all speculation, of course, and the main topic of conversation seems to be the fact that so many diplomats are in Orishire right now, and that possibly could be a reason why there are so many ships in the port, and it seems like every single trader is out trying to hawk their wares at this point. But unless you're going to do anything specific on the way back, you'll kind of pick up these pieces of conversations as you head back to the keep to find Sonny and Cass where they left you? Or what? Okay. Yes?
Got you in
How do you
later.
feel about cuddling,
Well,
Sonny?
I'm sorry, what?
How do you feel about cuddling?
You have lost me here.
Okay, never mind.
Not familiar with this?
No, I'm not sure why this is being asked.
Well, so, since I've made my report and they're gone, I feel like we both could use a nap. And, like, this has been a traumatic couple of hours.
Yes.
Sonny.
Just not the time.
Okay.
Well, in the form of cream. Good news. Mostly good news. We saw Dr. Zatari, and they assure us the everything points to the fact that Matilda intended to leave and did it of her own free will. And that's not the answer we're looking for, but it's
Doesn't make sense though.
maybe she's not safe, or in terms of being out in the open, it's not safe for her right now, and so she's waiting it out.
Maybe, but what about the sending then? Why did that happen?
curse. Yes.
What curse?
So it would seem that an external force put a curse on Matilda, most likely, and Matilda probably is not even aware of it, and it prevents us or anyone from contacting Matilda.
Hey,
So again, not the nefarious thing that we were worried about.
maybe I just
But from what we're gathering, it sounds like Matilda is safe for the time being.
I hope so.
I mean, she's experienced with being on the run.
And hopefully your contacts will lead with something in terms of her items.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, she's probably in need of money and such. She might be selling her own wares still.
And it, as sucky as it sounds, we may just, or as sucky as it is, if it's true, we may just need to play the waiting game for both Matilda and Agvir.
I feel a little differently about
What
Agvir.
what did you find out about Agvir?
Well, Agvir was probably the reason the sword exploded, and Satari also believes that Agvir is probably the most competent opposition for Tallwyn. So, I mean, probably okay. We still have the seed, and I can reach out to Tallwyn at any time. Satari was also nice enough to give us some scrolls of sending, which are very useful. And, we don't necessarily have to say, hey, Tallwyn, we're that rowdy bunch of mercenaries that you hired and that, you know, turncoat and yada yada yada. We could say we're anybody. And at least to get information. And
Is that really a good idea, though? If it's not in immediate danger.
I don't know if Agvir's in immediate danger. It's
I
up
don't like
to-
how little we know about any of this.
Well, exactly. That would be my goal, is just to get information.
My idea is we head to, what is that place called with the divination folk?
Quandir.
We could head to Quandir since a lot of us wanted to go there anyway, and we could
We have
decide on
Other
the way.
business, yes.
Sure.
They're not going to be easy to reach from what Satari was telling us, but it's better than just waiting around. Maybe we can get some kind of answer. I don't think we can just walk right in. It sounded like they're in that flying academy, so we have to get in there somehow.
And at the very least, we
Well,
can...
we figure that out. There are other things we can look into.
Exactly.
The contact in the conglomerate might have some more insight in getting into Quandir.
Maybe. I mean, it could be worth asking. If how do you know this person now?
Neswin, my contact, said that they had a colleague here, stationed here, for the purpose of diplomacy, I guess. Which, I mean, diplomacy, they might have a contact in Quandir too.
Yes, it's. You said gnome with tattoos, right?
Gnome with tattoos, yes.
Yes, yes.
We could also talk to Sick and Kavita.
Yes, I mean, Kavita obviously already knows about most of these things. We need to tell her about Agvir, just to make sure that she knows that there was a problem just outside the city.
I think...
Yeah,
we did
that's been taken care of.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're going to pass on the report to Kovita.
good. Well, I suppose when you get a chance, we can make sure Sick knows what the situation is. And can try talking to your friend once whatever summit they are having out in the yard is done.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
What is the yard looking like right now?
Well, if you peek out the door of the diplomatic quarters, it's pretty much a direct straight line to the other side of the courtyard. And you can see that there's still a lot of diplomats over there. More of them are standing up.
She knows what's going on.
Cool.
All right.
Off we go.
Yeah, I guess. Do we see either of them in the courtyard? You said Sick is gone, right?
Just
Not in the center.
Not on the center. Thick is very noticeable just because her and the guards are wearing full elegant plate mail, or plate, not mail, plate armor, and they stand out like a sore thumb. None of the other diplomats are actually armed or armored. Some of them have guards, but the guards, even though they might have a side weapon, aren't really wearing full plate kind of thing. So from this distance, you can immediately tell where Sick and the guards are, and they're just mingling with other diplomats out there. You don't immediately see the indicated gnome, but you can go over and look. Are you guys going to go as a group, split up? Like, how are you going to approach this?
I'll probably stick around with updating Sick first. Sure.
So you guys are going to head to the obvious target first then kind of thing as a group, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So all four of you?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sana, you be going?
Yeah. I think they'll just all go out and take a look and then possibly split into two discussions if we find everybody.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, as mentioned, Skalea does stand out like a sore thumb, as well as the guards, so you can easily make your way over to them. As you guys get closer, it is pretty obvious to you that whatever formalness there might have been when the two of you originally rode through the yard has evaporated at this point, and everybody is just having small discussions off to the side. What's up?
We may have frozen again.
Oh. Did we
Looks like it's back.
We did
We're
for
back.
a little bit. but-
Technical
Yeah, it
issues.
looks like it's back.
Gotta love them.
It's back.
We're back though. We're gonna keep going unless I hear otherwise. There's small little groups of diplomats talking. There's a lot of people milling between groups right now. You do, at this distance, notice how there are a lot of people that actually do have weapons, though they mostly are, in plain clothes. There doesn't seem to be any tension in the air, though. It just seems like a lot of people are having conversations. Some people are having louder ones and stuff like that. Off to the side, Skalea is conferring with her own troops, the 3 individuals, the 2 men and 1 female that had shown up about a week ago. And as you get closer, she notices all of them look towards you and then turns around and immediately kind of like makes a dismissive gesture at the guards, who kind of grunt and turn around and wander off in their own way. Skalea looks much healthier than the last time that you were that you saw her, which was, well, last night, but she still does have somewhat of bloodshot eyes. Both her eyes are still pretty bloodshot. But beyond that, the dark circles are gone under her eyes. Her skin has a healthy flush to it, and she looks more like herself at this point, despite the fact that she's in the regal armor with the regal weapon, and her short hair is up in a sort of like bun as well that has like a brooch in it. And she smiles at you all and like waves you over kind of thing through the diplomats that are milling around. Hi, how are you all doing?
Good.
That good.
Not so much. I'm okay.
Good.
We wanted to update you on, I guess, what we're planning, right? We're confirmed probably going to go over to
Quandir, yes.
Quandir.
Yeah.
We figured out that one of their friends, Agvir, is missing. So now I have 2 people to
A lot
find.
of them keep going missing.
Yeah, a lot of our friends keep going missing. And so while we are playing the waiting game for more information, we're going to go to Quandir and see what we can take care of. Because we already had stuff over there that we needed to look into for various different reasons.
Why Quandir again? I don't really remember you mentioning that before, but my brain,
It's
I have an excuse.
I don't think I mentioned it.
Yeah, I don't think you did. I know a few people in Quandir. We have a pretty storied history with them in Arlia.
It's 2 reasons, really. Before we met Vander, the rest of us got mixed up with the whole thing with the Glister Delight. That's how we all met, actually. I
think a lot of people got caught up in that. Yeah.
Yes. We think from the vision it gave us that there might be some kind of a connection out there that we were going to take a look at while you were waiting. And in addition, I was wanting to see if there was some way we could get access to their magical academy. We wanted to...
Oh, the university.
Yes, we wanted to speak with some of the divination specialists if we could find a way to get in touch with them.
Makes sense. Have any of you visited Quandir before?
Only in that dream.
Yeah.
It's a place of dreams.
Out of character, what exactly is Quandir, since I...
That's all good. If you happen to have an easy accessible copy of the map, you'll notice that Quandir is northeast, and it's northeast of Arlia. It's right up on the east side of the map. It's an island nation. They are very isolationist, have been for a very long time, and when the big war that happened a little over a year ago with Edwin happened, when he managed to kind of freeze a bunch of the ley lines, they were one of the few places that were able to somewhat easily repel and resist against him. But they have been a world power for the last couple thousand years. They have expanded and contracted their territory multiple times. They've always kept a hold of the islands, though. Very strong connection with magic. Very reclusive people for the most part. So it's not the home of Drow, but there are a lot of Drow there in Quandir.
Out of character, I don't know where Vander has traveled. Can I roll a percentile to see?
Yeah.
And you decide the number?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay.
Like if
he's ever like been
okay.
Pass through, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he would stay if he did pass.
Yeah.
A 4. Wow. Okay.
Probably not.
Depends on if you do high or low.
You have seen Quandir from the waters. So in some of your travels that you went on with your mentor, you ended up sailing past Quandir. And since Quandir is kind of it's an island nation, and an interesting feature about it is most of the land is quite a distance above the sea. So thousands of feet for most of it. There are ports, of course, that kind of slope down into the water and stuff like that, but it was most likely, a massive mountain range at one point before the ocean moved in around it. So you remember very jagged cliffs and kind of just a a dark gloominess that kind of hung over the place, but at the same time there was a lot of beauty as well. There was a lot of wildlife. The waters were very populated with some of the most beautiful aquatic life that you'd ever seen, kind of thing. I think, of course, you can tell me how Vander would react to it. I feel like Vander would be the type of person that would see the beauty in the place and not think of it as a gloomy place as people might label it, kind
Very
of thing.
much so.
But you wouldn't have probably had reason to stop there, but you at least have some idea of, oh yeah, I remember, passing by it and talking about it with my mentor, kind of thing. So,
Thank you. This
Okay.
helps me.
yep. Well, as I said, I have a few contacts, a few people I know in Quandir. Thankfully, they're pretty peaceful at the moment. They have a storied history with Arlia. We've clashed swords multiple times, though not for some time. Now, I think we're going on like 10 years or so of peace, so it sounds like you have some plans, though?
Yeah, I think we were looking for an easy way in, since it's hard to get in.
Yeah, we
W-
trying to.
Would you be willing to possibly help with that?
Or just the
I
pla-
guess I am a diplomat. I could write you, oh, it's not something that I normally do, but I know it's part of my station technically. A writ of passage. I could write you a writ of passage. They wouldn't know otherwise. Yeah, I can write you a writ of passage on the authority of the Silver Knights, more so Arlia, that is not going to give you diplomatic powers or immunity or anything like that, but it will clear up any issues getting through their borders, which I think could be exaggerated. A lot of the time they conduct trade just like any other country, and especially since there's no active, as far as I know, conflicts going on right now, you shouldn't face too much trouble. But if you do get stopped or questioned for why you are coming into the country or anything like that, I can provide official paperwork that should let you pass. There is the side effect, though, that as I mentioned, we've had many conflicts with them, so my letter will get you inside, but people also might give you some side eye since they see the seal of Arlia on it, and or my name, depending on who it is, but I doubt you'll run into anybody that actually knows me.
We could always withhold the writ if we don't see a benefit to it, so it helps to have it.
All right, yeah, I can.
Or perhaps you would like to come?
To Quantir? Whew, it's been quite a while since I've set foot in that nation.
No, I like your company.
Let me roll something really quick. Roll a perception check.
That's actually pretty good. I got a 18. I rarely roll good on perception.
So that guard that was outside her room when you ended up taking her the care package, all of them kind of scattered when she waved them off. They're standing nearish by. He's the closest, and you just hear like a grunt of annoyance from him as you say that.
Aaron's tired of your shit.
You notice something perhaps interesting to you with Skalea as you say that. She kind of chuckles and glances to the side like somebody, that's embarrassed would, and you think you catch a hint of blush in her cheeks, but you immediately see like a shimmer on her cheeks and like her face that seems to wipe it away. Like as if she has some kind of
Like a glamour?
a glamour. Yes, thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Like a glamour, an illusion like spell for some reason. She obviously reacted well to the comment, but kind of weird. So you notice that specifically when you make that, and she just chuckles and goes, "I may or may not be able to join you on that because there's been some interesting discussions going along among the diplomats right now, to say the least, and the world in general is a little uneasy after the news of Vinzor has spread around. It's ruffled a lot of feathers for a lot of different reasons."
Yes, how did the summit or whatever was going on out here, how did that go?
Oh, this was more of an informal. A lot of us have been working in this field for a very long time, and this was more of a catch up. This was an informal catch up with most of us, and we provided some updates from our nations. But in general, the official summit with Covita and the Orishire Council has gone very well. It's just there's a lot of unknowns. Nobody knows who was responsible for the assassination attempt, and she keeps the deadest of serious faces as she says that. There is not a hint of her like being coy about air quotes or anything like that. She just completely serious. Nobody has any idea about who did it. There's still no real confirmation of the Haven Snout's deaths, and the way that Vinzor was completely ravaged by the populace afterwards and left as sort of a skeleton is strange, to say the least. So it's left a very sense of unease around the world because the Haven Snouts, as you most likely can guess or know, they're not the only people in the world like that.
That's unfortunate, but true, yes.
Would most official channels be more upset about what the Haven Snouts were doing or the assassination itself?
Well, that's a complicated question, but I think to try and summarize it, most official channels are concerned with what the Haven Snouts were doing. The idea of desecrating any bodies that have passed a gravesite like that, what they were doing with the corpses, and the fact that they somehow were in league with a hag, and everything that they were doing to Orishire from afar, it's terrifying. So of course, all of these other nations, including Cardavia, is concerned that the Haven Snouts could have had their fingers in other pies. Were they influencing anyone else besides Orishire? Were they only focused on Orishire due to the complex history between the two of them? Were they fixated on it, or were they trying to become more of an international power with things like their own summit that they held when the assassination or purported assassination happened? I would say most are concerned about what the Haven Snouts did. Of course, there is the general bluster and condemnation of an assassination because no one will openly approve of that, even though many of these nations have done that. In fact, every nation most likely has at some point or another, though they like to try and act like they wouldn't do such a thing. But so in general, everyone wants to make sure that they're safe, in that if the Haven Snouts did anything else, it is quickly and expediently uncovered, so there's less damage done. I would say that at this point, you can expect most of the diplomats to start dispersing over the next couple of days. There's not much to be gained from being here in Orishire. Some of them may stay for some time to talk to the populace, perhaps conduct their own research. There could be their, own scouting parties to Vinzor. I'm sure there's plenty of things going on with them and their nations, but the formalities, as far as I'm concerned, are wrapping up as of this evening.
Could you do us one small favor?
What's that?
Do you recall the pink woman?
The pink woman? I'm sorry, you have to be more specific.
Kree puts their cloak up and stuff and transforms into the pink woman as best they can.
All right.
Me, I was with the Haven Snouts on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Just and changes back to Kree. If we could just make sure that everyone's aware that this is some sort of villain, right?
I don't know. They're definitely connected to whatever happened to the drinks, but we don't really know anything about her.
I mean, she was the face of the disaster.
She was the face of the Haven Snouts.
She was there.
Yeah, she was.
Yes.
Bad.
Quick
We
DM
don't-
note: she wasn't on the stage. You saw her in the balconies,
Mhm.
the terrace of the.
Oh,
You
I thought
spotted
they
her
were
in the
on
balconies, and she was
Okay, 'cause
up there watching.
On the smaller balcony,
Yeah.
not the main stage.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Otherwise, she could have been conveniently dead from our assassination.
So she's probably not gonna be. I was.
She was
certain
not
that
near
she-
the stage. She could have, she could have died in the fighting or something. But just, DM note on that really quick. But otherwise,
Just if, I don't know, investigations could be made about her origin or her purpose.
I remember you mentioning this individual to me, and now that you give me the opportunity to refresh my memory, I believe I saw her just in the crowd multiple times due to her unique complexion. I believe she stood out. She was also wearing quite a beautiful dress, if I remember. But I can make some inquiries without a name. The physical description helps, of course, but without your abilities or a sufficient enough artist to capture this visage, I might not be able to turn up too much, but I will include it in my questions.
Just if anything happens to come across your path, you know?
Of course, my underworld contacts would be the best source for that, and I can put feelers out, at least, for any information that I can find.
We would
on there.
greatly appreciate that. You've been a big help.
It's the least that I can do after everything that you've all done. Plus, it seems like fate has not been very kind with you all lately, and your friends.
No,
Next thing you know, I'm going to vanish.
don't even joke.
Better not.
Don't even joke.
She just laughs. As you can tell, it takes a lot to take me out, so I think I'm okay for now, but I'm not planning on vanishing, so.
Hopefully, it won't take me a lot to take you out.
Oh! Really? That was one of the smoothest.
Just like, oh my god.
That was one of the smoothest. Ray turns beet red. Oh, that was. That was good. That was good.
All
I need
three
to.
of us just disappear from this thing.
It's like, okay, it's time for those two to talk alone.
With the entourage of her guard, like.
They're within, they're like 15, 20 feet away, kind of thing. But they, you can't be sure that they're hearing everything that you say. But before anybody vanishes or anything like that, it just hit me out of nowhere. It was like the second or third time you managed to catch me off guard, Ray. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
It keeps happening. No one expects Vander to flirt.
Yeah, no one expects Vander to
It
flirt.
keeps happening, but no one expects it whenever it happens.
Yep.
I
Good
like
boy of
him.
the part.
He's good in a bad way.
He's good in a bad way.
Because he can deliver it, like he can say it, but the way he delivers it, it's
Okay.
like it's
I get,
awkward.
I get. I don't think that was awkward. I think that was smooth as fuck.
Oh, thank
Going from Hunter x Hunter, it's like awkward, nice boy, but pulls when it comes down.
I mean, it's one of the things that he picked up as a prince. Apparently,
Yeah.
is, he might not do a lot of the royal functions very well, but he can lay on the charm when he wants to, just every so often, kind of thing. So. Everybody, since you're standing there, and it's going to be way more obvious now, Sick didn't expect that either. Her eyes go wide, and she just kind of locks up for a good second or two, and you all notice her face do the almost classic, like, flush upwards, but you notice it go red back to normal like that, kind of like a scan line on a TV, kind of. So, like, it's obvious that she's blushing, but then something kind of, like, hides it for some reason. Definitely it seems like a glamour or some kind of illusion or something like that. And she coughs finally to like break the like what feels to her like an eternity, but was only really a second or two. And she looks at Van and goes, "It won't take that much, no."
Yay.
Dinner tonight? Yeah, sounds good. I have to get going. But I'll talk to you tonight, and I'll make those inquiries, and just let me know if you need anything else. Okay?
It's just Vander.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you guys got that? Well, you saw. Okay, sorry. Rewind. You saw the blush. You saw the illusion weirdness before you apparently all seamlessly disengaged.
It's like, okay, we'll let you talk.
You have okay, so you have your group has interesting teamwork in moments of social interactions where you might not perform that well in a battle so far, but in this social thing, all three of you just seamlessly like communicate with the same brain cell. I'm like, woo!
Like I said, Sonny's hilarious. Like, okay, I think it's time for you two to talk alone.
Okay, so the three of you seamlessly disengage into the crowd, even though there's kind of a bubble around you guys and Skalea at this point. So, rewinding back to you saying that, you hear the guard, Aaron, again make a very dissatisfied grunt off in the distance. You also hear some chuckling, and you don't know if you think it might be from the other Silver Knights. Could have been from them, could have been from something, but like somebody finds the situation amusing. But after she spends the moment of locking up, she kind of blinks and notices that your companions vanish. And she looks back at you and, no, it wouldn't take much to you plan that with them or something?
I don't know where they went.
So no.
That wasn't like a thing that you had talked about beforehand, because that was like coordinated.
Guys?
They're gone. You're just standing
Game
there.
knows game.
Game recognizes game. No, it wouldn't take. You mean a date, right?
Yes. I will not kill you.
This was that a question, Andrew?
I don't know.
I worried. Say what?
With the way I said it, I don't know.
No, it was really sweet. You just caught me off guard because I'm embarrassed. But no, I would love to go on a date with you. I was probably going to ask you if you didn't ask me, especially if you guys are leaving for Quandir soon. So I would love to.
That's exactly why I'm asking. And you offered the perfect opportunity to ask.
I suppose so. That was a very charming way of asking. I have a couple things that I have to tie up with the diplomats, and I need a bit to get out of the regalia and everything. But later this evening, I don't really know anywhere to go to eat in Orishire. I haven't really left the keep, but
I'll show you somewhere nice.
okay. So 7 o'clock?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go talk to my guards, and I'll see you then. Okay?
Okay, and he will hug her before she leaves.
Oh, she will. You'll. No, you're hugging her. You would notice. So when you scoop her into her hug, you've hugged her multiple times, and you've actually carried her a couple times, especially like out of the keep when she was unconscious. There is definitely a glamour on her because when you hug her, the visual doesn't match up to the feeling. It's nothing major, but this is the kind of stuff that somebody like you is going to notice, especially with how you can kind of see magical auras. And it's not major, but when you hug her, your arms are literally clipping into the armor like in a video game, but only by like an inch or something like that. So there's obviously some kind of spell on her for some reason or another. It might just be for appearances. There could be a defensive nature to it. It doesn't affect you or anything like that. But you're like, wait, she's smaller than. Like, this is how big I've expected her to be kind of thing. This is like the circumference of her waist, but something's going on. So just background stuff that you notice. And she seems a bit tense when you hug her just out of embarrassment, but then she immediately softens and gives you a hug back before leaving. Cool. Okay. And yeah, she walks back to her guards, and you immediately hear something gruff from Aaron, and you can see her shooting him a death glare before the four of them end up walking away back into the diplomatic crowd.
Remember that whole bit about the foreign prince last time? I think that just came back.
What?
Oh yeah, about the foreign prince being in the foreign prince with former elvish
Oh no!
royal nobility
Part
and
2.
yeah, you're gonna be this in the headlines of some newspapers there. Get a
Follow-up expose.
Oh
Yeah.
boy!
Yeah.
Didn't even
All
realize.
all the Orishire tabloids.
Oh my god!
Okay, so question for the two of you. Is Vander a daddy?
He's not bad.
He is in his hundreds.
Vander doesn't have that like authoritative thing of a daddy. You know, it's like
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's more like
Yeah, I think that's.
I'm sure he could change
he's
that with Dick.
approachable.
Okay, good. That's helping my definition.
Cass asking the important questions.
Very important question.
Yeah. That was asked while Vander wasn't there, obviously. Yeah, I assume.
Yeah, it was on the way out.
Okay, on the way out. All
Why
right.
are you asking these? Why are you asking these?
I'm refining my definition of what this is.
All right.
Like, I need to know the edge cases. If we have Giovanni, how far
The
away do you
range?
get?
Not right.
I
Do you see your friend anywhere?
do I see my friend anywhere?
Well, you don't see Neswin because Neswin isn't here.
Mhm.
But the
Right.
individual that Neswin described to you, Roywin, Ralnor, you spend a moment kind of looking around through the crowd, and you guys disengage from Vander and Scalia. You just have a brief conversation. You're still in the general area, though. It doesn't take too long to find the individual. They seem like they're in the middle of a conversation with some Elvish representatives of some nation, but they are disengaging by the time that you notice them. They are average gnomish height, very muscular build, reminds you of a fighter or a monk or something like that. They're wearing a short sleeve shirt, pants, boots, have a rather long cape on at the moment, though it seems mostly wrapped around them for warmth. But their hands, their arms, their neck, some of their face, everything is tattooed in different multicolored ink. And it seems like the tattoos kind of shift and move on their own for the most part. And
hey.
and they're disengaging from a conversation, like you see them like trying to get out of a conversation or finishing a conversation off to one side of the diplomats.
Oh, hey, we have something in common.
What'd you say?
Said we have something in common.
And I will say, like, as you, just for tracking purposes, like, as you look around, spot this individual, Vander will walk back up to you guys at that time. So, sure.
Where'd you guys go? I have the face of Aaron, and I'm just like,
I thought maybe you two could speak privately for a moment.
Oh,
Well, that was smooth.
You think so?
No,
Thanks.
that was very well done.
Thank you.
Hopefully it doesn't take much to take you out.
Did it work?
Yeah.
You guys have a date?
Yes.
That's good.
Congratulations.
I'm glad.
congratulations. That is honestly
glad.
genuinely impressive. What? I'm not saying you're unimpressive. That was impressive.
Later. We can have this with the other conversation later.
Roywin Relmar, is that you? Oh my god.
Did you just yell that out?
Oh, okay, we're going for it.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, but like not like super loud, but like approaching very closely with like a hand extended.
Okay. So as you head over, they have disengaged from said conversation and kind of turn around at their name with a confused expression on their face, and they give a bit of a wave at you, and they extend an arm, and you notice on their arm the tattoos rearrange flawlessly on their skin into hello question mark in 3 different languages: common, gnomish, and one you don't recognize.
Hi. My name is Cree de Castella, and nice to meet you. I am a friend of Neswin, and we have some very important business we would like to discuss with you. If you could spare us a few moments of your time.
Ponders for a moment and kind of wiggles her hand and then re-extends the arm, and the text stays in common this time, doesn't display in multiple languages, but the text reads, "Are you a representative of some specific nation or state?"
Orashire?
Still looks a little bit confused, but then shrugs, and everything seems to be communicated with the text on the arm moving forward. I'm happy to speak with you. Yes, I'm a little confused on what this is about, but if you're coming to speak with me because of Neswin, I'm more than happy to hear you out.
Do you want to explain this, or should one of us?
One of you might be a little bit more versed for.
Is this a conversation that we want to have in public? What kind of setting do we need for this?
It doesn't need to be private. Someone from the city has gone missing, and we are just trying to find people we can trust to keep eyes out for if they reappear. We just know they teleported somewhere on the world. We don't know where they ended up. And we were hoping we could get some kind of official channel open to just keep an eye out, and we can assist perhaps with other things in exchange, you know?
This makes sense. You said that you're representative of Orashire. I have not seen you present at any of the meetings. What official capacity are you holding at this point for Orashire?
We are the heroes of Orashire.
Ah, that explains it. I've heard quite a lot about
yes,
you in the past couple days.
Yes, the whole business with the hag and the
Yeah.
Haven Snouts incursions.
Yes. Well, and how do you know Neswin?
That's up to them.
We associated in blanking.
Windsor?
Win-
Vinzor?
Vinzor, thank you. And we that's right there. We
It's all good.
we came to an agreement to mutually beneficial agreement to assist each other freely. And we were also possibly wondering if there might be any way that we could seek your assistance in gaining access to Quandir, if you have any sort of foothold. I thought the conglomerate was.
No, I thought Skalea was.
Oh,
Do you want to strike that bit, or do you still want to say it? It's up to you.
I think I said it. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I was just making sure you remember. Like, I think Skalea was going to cover that part, so if you weren't sure.
Just in case the rite of passage wasn't.
We are not on speaking terms with Quandir at this time. I can't really help you with that through diplomatic channels. But if you are an associate of Neswin's, and if you are acting in the authority as the heroes of Orishire, that's not an official diplomatic channel per se, but based on what I know about you and what you have recently done for the city, I'm more than happy to take this back to the diplomatic core of the conglomerate, and we can investigate, or at least put some diplomatic notice out about this individual. Is it a friend, a lover, someone that is important to you? What caused you to come to me for this specifically? This must be something of very important.
Honey, what is Matilda?
Mostly we are just trying to spread reach further to cast a wider net for where our friend may have reappeared. She teleported under somewhat unusual circumstances and might be in hiding.
Dear ally.
All right.
Friend.
So it's mostly just if we were to
You
provide
you lost an individual.
Yes, if we were to provide you with a description and some examples of, look, she's a shopkeeper, some of the things that she would make and what her maker's mark are, and just if you would let us know if anything happened to come up. You don't need to actively look for her, it's just if it comes across in anything that you oversee.
Thank you for the clarification. That makes sense. That is a request I believe the conglomerate would happily accept given what you have recently done for Orishire. We in the conglomerate have many different ways of communicating such things to our citizens and especially our officials. So if you do provide me with said information, I would be happy to take it back to the conglomerate with me. I leave in the morning, but I can take it back with me and we can disseminate it to our officials and our citizens. And if we find anything, I will be able to contact. Is there one of you that I should contact specifically or have listed as the contact?
Creed de Castel.
Okay. And you see the name like show up misspelled at first with a question mark, like asking.
Krei.
It shifts around.
And Castel it's famous.
And if they happen to not be available, I am Sonny Luoma.
And you see the name appear, and the spelling's right on yours. I'll make a note of that. If you hear from us, it will be me, and I will contact you through a sending spell. I can't promise anything, but I can at least officially acknowledge that the request will be made through diplomatic channels to the rest of the conglomerate.
Thank you. That is all we can ask for. Just looking for options, you know?
Yes, appreciate it.
Was there anything else that you wanted me to pass on to Neswin? Or I assume if she sent you to me, it's just because she was not here at this time.
Just that if she ever needs to reach out, I'm here. Just always a pleasure to hear from her.
Old friends, I take it?
No.
Oh.
Fast friends, it seems. I did not meet her myself.
Some of my best friends have been very fast friends. Nothing wrong with that sort of an association, just wondering. Well, I will take the information that you've provided to me. If you can provide me preferably a detailed written description, a sketch of that maker's mark, anything else that you can provide. I'm over in the diplomatic quarters. My room is 27B. You can speak with either myself or my guard that will be outside of the door. I leave tomorrow at sunup, and we will be teleporting, so if you can get it to me before then, I'll be able to take it back to the conglomerate. And this is, you know, this individual, this gnome, has facial expressions as she's talking to you all, like she's having a conversation. Her hair is black. It's up in a giant kind of braid that's twirled into a bun. But she just stands there with her arm out on the tattoo, rearranging constantly as she talks. But she smiles and, you know, makes confused, like all the facial expressions are there, but her mouth never opens. Doesn't seem like she can speak.
Like
So.
one of those like scrolling lights where it's just
Kind of, but like it's more like if you kind of like look at my tattoo, like it's like each individual element will like break up and scatter into just like a cloud of like colors and pieces and stuff, and it will rearrange into the words and then stay there till she says something else, rearrange into another set of words. So it's not like a scrolling ticker in this case, but it just keeps changing into the words.
Don't you have one of the like drawings of the crafting symbol?
I leave that to Sani. I don't
Yeah,
wanna...
we can give them the information. And then Sonia also says that's a very useful tattoo. I like it very much.
Thank you. It is a fun, very useful piece of magic that my mentor, I believe, invented many, many years ago after an accident.
Mine move as well, but not nearly so fast, and just lifts up her arm and just that whole sleeve of eldritch symbols that kind of slowly move as they're observed.
Yeah, and you see her head tilts and she squints, like definitely curious, and just kind of studies it for a moment with a hint of a smile growing, and she goes, "Those are beautiful. Mine actually were like that for some time. The effort to control and communicate through this took many years to learn to the point where I can talk with you as fluently as I am now. But it is something I am very thankful to have, not to mention that it can be very useful to speak other languages, to use runic languages, not to mention that I can use it for other practical purposes. And you notice that all the symbols then are arranged into like an arrow that says over there. And she's just like pointing at something. And she kind of shrugs.
Genuinely, thank you.
My pleasure. For a friend of Neswin, more than happy to help. And especially, again, Heroes of Orishire, thank you for your service. I will excuse myself for now, but please, if you can get that to me before tomorrow morning, I'd be happy to take that to the conglomerate for you.
I think we can arrange that, yes.
Good day. And she does a bit of a bow, actually, and then turns to walk off.
Cool. Well, that's everything we had for now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Is there anything else we need to take care of before we start planning our trip to
No.
Guandu?
I don't think so. I think at this point we're just waiting for a boat to arrive.
We have a boat.
You do
We
have a
a
boat.
date.
Yeah.
Oh, we should hire a crew, I guess, for the boat. We haven't done that.
We don't need a crew, right? I
It
don't think
sounded
think we
like
do.
we did not with the enchantments placed on it, but we'll
no.
take a look when it gets here.
doesn't hurt to have allies. Watch the boat when we're not there.
As you guys are kind of standing there after Roywin departs, there's a lot of people mingling around, so it's not like you notice anything specific, but as you're standing there talking about the boat, a familiar voice peeks up behind you all as Kovita approaches, kind of from off to the side, out of your line of sight. And she looks very weary when you eventually turn your heads around, but you hear her voice first, and she speaks a bit louder than normal to get your attention and goes, "Are you all having fun mingling?"
What the fuck?
Trying to make a few connections.
Turning into diplomats already, are you?
Thought it'd be a good way to get more eyes out there looking for Matilda, you know?
I would say that you don't stand out like sore thumbs in the crowd, but it's interesting to see you out here with everyone. Hopefully they're all behaving themselves, especially in my home.
They've all been very pleasant.
Good. They're not so pleasant to me, but then again, different positions and all that. Though thankfully I'm hope to be rid of them all soon.
Yes, hopefully we will not be disturbing your rest much longer.
You do not disturb me, Sonny. As I have said, you have all been nothing but a benefit to the city while you have been here. I just tire of diplomats in general, but that is me being an old woman who has dealt with them for too much of my life, and answering the same question multiple times and telling the same story multiple times is not something I really like doing ad nauseum.
how do you deal with so much crime? You know, just things happen and then something else happens, and you've got to look into this, but you've still got to look into that, and there's a timetable and everything. How do you? It becomes manageable, right?
I
with
imagine
experience?
She delegates.
Yes,
There is a decent amount of delegation, yes, but I, to hazard a guess, are you talking more about not so much how you would manage an organization? You're talking more of a psychological toll, correct?
I suppose I am. Yes.
That is a complicated thing to answer, but based on what I know of you, all of you, and what I've seen of you as you've been here, I assumed it was more of a psychological, the wear, the tear, the effort involved in dealing with so many different things popping up in your lives, correct?
Yes.
It gets easier. You need to remember that you cannot solve everything, though.
Oh, see, that's the wrong way to go. No, we need to. We need to.
No, that's the thing that you need to remember is that, well, you might want to solve everything or you feel that you're charged. How do you think I feel responsible for an entire city and all the beings under my watch? It can be overwhelming, but you have to. Sonny is correct. When it comes to the practicality of investigating or chasing down leads, yes, you delegate, of course. But the stress is always with me. Even if I delegate every single task, I'm still waiting for resolutions. I'm caught up in the emotions from it as well, even though it might not seem like I always am. Constantly, there is a storm of thoughts in my head, but the way that I deal with it is that you must realize that you're not truly responsible for figuring everything out. You are not a demigod. You are not a god charged with a divine duty to protect everyone and everything and figure out an answer to every question you come across in your life. So if you have many different negative things fall on your plate, as you somewhat have recently, you cannot focus on all of them. You sometimes have to pick the best one to focus on. You sometimes have to let the others lie until new information comes to light. What good does it do to sit there and let it fester like a wound when you truly can do nothing? If you've done everything you can, you need to move on. It's not easy by any means, but what I'm trying to say is you can't be paralyzed by wanting to do everything. Does that make sense?
It does. It's more of the resisting the impulse to do what I am capable of that has been irking me.
The irony is that in some ways only gets worse the more you spend time in this world. The more power that you gain, the more experience that you gain, you always have that small voice in the back of your head going, but I can solve this, but I do have the power, I have the resources. But at the end of the day, you still need to take time for yourself, and you cannot kill yourself trying to be the one that saves the world, because let us be frank, even if many of us have an impact in lives, not all of us are these grand heroes that stories tell of, and even the stories are usually over-exaggerated, and it's an effort of many people, with only one or two getting the credit in the end.
That's a trade secret, but you're absolutely right.
There are so many unsung actors that contribute in one way or another to giant geopolitical events or worldwide events. Very rarely is it truly one person or one group saving the world or stopping a force or something like that. So not to downplay that you all have had some very unfortunate things happen. I got your note, Cass, about Egvir, which is incredibly concerning. I actually sent a unit to investigate, but I have a feeling that our old friend is dealing with matters. If you didn't find a body, I'm not concerned for the most part about Egvir after what he survived during the Hafensnout's rules, but I will be looking into it because it is very concerning.
It's appreciated.
But you've all had misfortune rain upon you, but you've also had many good things happen as well. In the time that I have known you, you have experienced victory, you have experienced rewards, you have experienced love, you have many things that are positive forces in your life that I feel you may be forgetting, or you need to spend some more time thinking about. It may look bleak right now, but you have things to look forward to. And actually, that is one of the reasons the main reason that I took some time out of dealing with that gaggle and my own troops to talk to you all. Obviously, to follow up on Egvir, but today I get to do the thing I don't get to do very often, which is be the bearer of good news. And she reaches in one of the pouches that she always carries and pulls out a pretty hefty looking bag and reaches out to Cree and gives you the bag just because you happen to be the closest to her. And it feels as if it's full of coin and possibly some gems. I will have to send this separately, but it contains a decent amount of gold, a bit of platinum, and then a specific loadout of gems in it. But she hands it over and you pass it to Sani.
This is heavy.
This is the reward that I had mentioned, one half of your reward, at least, that the council has decided that you deserve for your efforts in the city. And I, of course, and everyone, of course, agree with them. So please use the money wisely and the gems wisely, but hopefully it will be beneficial to you in your adventures or just life in the future. At least buy yourself something frivolous with some of it, which might not be something that you would expect someone like me to say, but you should have fun. Buy yourself something nice, even if it is a flagon of mead or a nice meal. Do something for yourself after all you have been through. The second piece to that, though, your ship. It is nameless. It is brand new. No one has been able to sail it yet. It was being built for the council, as I had mentioned, or some of the members of the council, and they have opted to gift it to you. So whatever you could choose to call it is up to you. It is back behind the keep in our private docks right now. I was coming to let you know that it is here and give you a quick tour of it if you would like.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that would be a good idea, yes.
Certainly.
Yes, please follow me. And she leads you through the courtyard. You guys have never been, like, none of you knew about the private docks, or you hadn't heard about that yet, and because you've never seen it from the bay or when you've been in the keep. And she actually takes you up through the keep, out one of the back, like, servant entrances, or what was probably a servant entrance when this was a mansion. And behind the keep is nothing impressive. There's a lot of storage back here. It looks like there's a overflow stables that is not being currently used. But there is a back gate she takes you out of, and there is a pretty well-maintained dock out here. Everything at the dock is rowboats right now. There are some berths for larger ships, and there is one ship sitting there that is obviously going to be the ship that she is leading you towards. The ship is it's classified as a small craft. It most likely can hold up to 10 people or so. It is made of beautiful, dark-stained wood with gold accents. It has one pretty significant mast with multiple sails spawning off of it. They are all collapsed right now. It looks like it was meant to have some kind of a, most likely like embellishments on the bow and stuff. It looks like a lot of it hasn't been finished, or it wasn't adorned the way that it might have been, but it's still a very beautiful ship. And there is a gangplank extended right now, and Kovita will lead you up the gangplank onto the ship, and it is obvious that this ship has barely ever seen booted feet at this point. All the wood is glossy, and the finish has not been broken. There's barely a speck of dust on it at this point, and you immediately notice the telltale warble of multiple enchantments on the ship when you walk up onto it. And you all notice that the mast specifically is of note because kind of on either side of it are these wicked looking sort of gouges in there that are filled with some sort of a clear material, and it looks like the whole mast is enchanted with some sort of enchantment. And she kind of waits for all of you to get on board and kind of gestures at the ship.
I've never seen a ship like this.
It is because it is a very rare kind. They exist, and they have existed for a very, as far as I know, many years, but it is quite a drain on resources to build one, and it's much more practical to make a standard ship that relies on the weather and skilled crew. This is meant for people like the council, if you'll get the drift of what I mean. The ship can be piloted by almost anyone. The enchantments you see on the mast provide heat in any type of weather. So if you employ the sails, it can generate its own sort of draft and force. So even if the wind has left your sails, you can generate your own wind with the enchantments that are up there. It's not going to navigate for you or anything like that, but it takes the sail work and some of the harder aspects of sailing out of the equation if you are someone who does not prefer to get their hands dirty. I'm not saying that that's you, it's the council, obviously, but
Easy peasy.
it's what I've heard is it's easy peasy, but there are some scrolls that are I will provide you and that are on the ship that explain the operation of the runes, but anyone, even a non-magical user, can activate the runes. Other than that, I cannot help you with sailing, but at least you have power in a way to use. There are 5 different quarters below decks that are fully furnished, as far as I know. There is a brief galley, a small galley down there, and some storage area. It's a nice ship, to say the least. A little showy for my taste, but it is officially yours. And she pauses and like pats down the pouches for a second as if forgetting where something is, and then reaches in one and then the other one, and she fishes out an emblem which kind of looks like a sunburst, and it's vaguely reminiscent of like the Orishire symbol, but it looks like something that you saw on the counselors before, and it's kind of like a dark ebony wood medallion, and she hands it to Vander, who happens to be the closest this time, and it's on a kind of a long cord, like it could be a necklace or something like that, and she hands it over and goes, "This is the key for the ship. The enchantments will not activate unless you place that into the center of the wheel," and she points up to the bow, or the aft, where the wheel is.
So this is sort of like the captain's thing.
You could call it that, the captain's key. Technically, you could still deploy the sails and make the ship travel like a normal ship, relying on the weather, but if you want to activate the enchantments on the mast and actually take advantage of what this thing was built for, which apparently is speed, you would need that. And there is only that one that I believe you would need to talk to us to get another from the boatmasters in Orishire that built the thing.
I think this should go to you.
Sonny keeps getting handed. Sonny's the
All
group.
right.
Sonny's the group mom for all of this stuff.
Let's be honest, Sonic's probably the person who knows the most about ships anyway.
Exactly.
Probably, yeah. No, that is totally true. So yeah, she hands that to you. You hand it to Sonny. As I said, it is up to you to name the thing if you want, and I'm sure we could have someone paint it on the side before you leave if you really care that much. But it's your ship.
We should name it something cool,
Mm-hmm.
like Treetop.
Maybe we can think about it once we've taken care of our other business this evening.
I
There
agree.
there is much to be said about the power of names. Best to think about it and give it something fitting of what you wish to accomplish with it, or your own sort of energy, as they would say. But
Yes.
will you be heading out soon then?
Maybe tonight or tomorrow morning.
Probably not any later than the next day or two, yes.
Well, please do not leave without saying goodbye. Not that I think you would, but with how hectic things have been, I could understand if you needed to slip out under the watchful view of the diplomats that are still here and everything. But I would welcome the chance to say goodbye to you, at least before you leave till your next destination.
I don't think we need to slip out like thieves. We can wait for daylight. It'll be safer to take a new ship around the waterway anyway.
Then what we should do is all get together for breakfast.
I would be happy. Would you like to join us in the keep?
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm not sure if that was what you were implying, Vander, sorry, but I'm sure if you wanted to come to the general mess breakfast, especially if we bring pastries, there's a lot of men and women that would love to just see you one more time too, just from the time working with us and fighting alongside of you in some individual cases, and not to mention Vander has made quite a name for himself with all the baked goods, and I like you for more than your baked goods. But your baked goods are exemplary, Mary, young man.
Thank you.
But they help a lot.
They definitely provide a morale boost. I will be sad to see those baked goods go. But
Before we do leave, you said how you like to cook and you don't get an opportunity to do it much. Maybe we could together get up early enough to make it together.
I would love
Something
that.
nice and lavish.
I'm usually up very early to begin with. I don't sleep much these days, but I would love to. You could meet me in the kitchen in the morning at some point, and we'll figure something out for mess.
Yeah.
Sounds
And then
wonderful.
I'll be sure to leave you all the recipes I use.
Thank you. Hopefully it inspires me to try a little bit more cooking myself. as I was saying, you can't get caught up in everything and you need to take time for yourself because I am not doing the best job of that myself with everything that has happened with the Haven Snouts and Orashire lately. I have spent many a sleepless night trying to connect the threads and worrying about you and many other people, so...
And I thank you for the advice. And I feel badly that when we first met, I was deceptive and such. And I just basically
I
with
find it
everything
charming
we
at
did
this point, so...
Gaspard just abruptly hugs her.
Aww. Kovita, oddly enough, there is not a single, tick of hesitation or stiffness or anything from Kovita. In, the second that you reach out and hug her, you're immediately enveloped in a very strong hug and a very kind of, maternal, response to it. And she gives you a hug, and she does that thing where she holds on for a couple seconds longer than, a normal hug, and it feels, protective in a way for some reason, and as you pull away from the hug, you can tell that she's feeling something from it, and her face is definitely a little distant from the hug, but she seems receptive.
Yes, so that was thank you for everything.
You may have lost a dad, but you gained a mom.
You have done so much for us, and you've been so kind and supportive to us.
It is the least that I could do for your contributions to the city, but even before you did anything for Orashire, you were always very kind people, if maybe a bit deceptive. But,
I mean, I think...
as I said, it is a charming thing, and you had good intentions in the end. You were not actually trying to scam me or the city, and that puts you in my good graces, of course. But I would love to cook with you tomorrow morning, and I would love to see you all at breakfast before you head out. Where are you headed?
Quandir, right?
Quandir.
Yes.
Following up some of the leads, then.
Yes, a lot of things just need to wait, and there are things we've been putting off and things we can try to investigate while we work on those, so.
Well, I wish you luck in all of them. I am sorry that there has not been more concrete resolution of many of the things that you are looking for. I am sure Matilda will turn up eventually, though she may be one of those things that you must let lie. Many of the things you're concerned about right now may need to let lie, so focus on the ones that you can follow up on.
No, you are right, and I'm trying to keep some of my temple's teachings in mind. It's hard.
Tough. No, it is very hard, Sonny. I cannot imagine. But, as I said to Kree, do not let it consume you. I can tell that you look very tired and most likely have spent a lot of time obsessing over this, understandably. But do not let it consume you and distract from the fact that you are still living and you have a life and you have these other things and you have these companions. Get back out on the sea. Try and find some enjoyment, if not just peace, in that. Matilda, I believe in her. Much like I believe in Egver, that, well, something bad has most likely happened to both of them, I believe that they will always come out on top, or at least that is my hope for those two. Try and give yourself a break. Healing yourself will not save Matilda or anyone else. And if something bad did happen to her, inflicting wounds on yourself will not heal that.
No, not really.
Just something to think about. But I need to get back for the final assembly of diplomats tonight before hopefully I am rid of them all. But anything else I can help you with before? I have not seen you for many days, so I wanted to use this opportunity to make sure I did not miss something.
I do not think so, but just thank you again.
Of course. You do not need to. I think we are more than even at this point, and if anything, we can express a mutual satisfaction for at least being able to help each other as much as we did and knowing each other. But I'm going to go see most of these annoying diplomats off. There's one or two that I've warmed up to, but the rest of them can fuck off. But have fun with your ship. Maybe take it out this evening, but I will see you in the morning, and then I will see the rest of you in the morning as well. And with that, she kind of does a little head bow and turns and walks down the gangplank, and the four of you are now standing on your unnamed, beautiful ship.
We should check the rooms really quick.
Let's
See how
take
many
a look
there are.
around, and then we have to get a few things to Raven, and then I guess we decide what we're doing on what might be the last night in Norishire for a little while.
Again, the ship is kind of a smaller craft, probably would hold 10 people comfortably, as in like sleeping and living. You can obviously fit more people on the ship. I will get you guys some reference images that we'll put in the Discord, so you should join the Discord because you might see stuff like this from PDT and our other productions. But it's beautiful. It's brand new, obviously hasn't been used. It is pretty standard, just like a schooner layout for fantasy type ships. One mast, multiple sails spawning off it. There is a standard captain's wheel at the back of the ship. It looks like there were going to be endorments on the front and stuff that just aren't there, so the front of it is kind of a little plain when it should have a... God, what is the thing on the front of a ship called? The figure...
The masthead?
The masthead? Is that what it's called? Like if you have a mermaid or you have like a statue on the bow of the ship coming off it? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Can't think of that.
Ship terms aren't real.
Yeah, sure. But like there's indications like that they were going to put something there, but it's not there. Going down to the deck below, you find the 5 quarters that were mentioned. Every single one is furnished. Right now they're all identical. So every single one has the exact same bed, the covers, they're pretty bare. So each bedroom has a chest at the foot of a bed. It has a bed. It has 2 chairs and a table. It has some like cupboards built into the wall, probably for clothing or whatever else, and that's it. The bed has very fine linen and silks probably as well, and pillows on it. And all of it is red and gold themed, and all the rooms are the same. There is a galley at the end of the hall. Not really kitted out. There is no food, spices, anything here. But there is a pretty basic stove that does vent outside and looks like it's been built in very expertly. There is a ton of room for storing spices, food, anything else that you might like. It looks like in the floor, one of the most interesting things you find is in the floor, there's a storage box set deep into the floor that obviously like sticks out of the ship probably and has water flowing around it to keep the contents cool. So not ice cold or anything like that, but it seems like some innovation in the way that they were going to store food on this to like put meat down there or something like that. So you're not sure how it works right now, but it is colder. Poking around a bit more, you notice that you can go down like not a full deck, but there is another small set of stairs, and underneath all the rooms and where the galley is, there is a hold. Hold is very cramped. You all have to kind of, especially you, you have to almost like get down like on your knees and curl up to get down there. But the ceiling is about 5 foot high down here, 5.5. And there's a small hold. It's completely empty right now in here, but you obviously know this is where they would store, supplies and stuff like that.
So Sonny can stand up, but nobody else.
Yes. Yes, you can stand up with like this much clearance over your head. Everybody else is like, uncomfortable.
Vander's just crawling.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Vander's like not.
Use this for?
Yeah, there is no crow's nest on this. And when you're either on the deck or when you go back up, you obviously see the spot in the wheel that she was talking about to put the medallion in it, and you see a very simplistic set of runes on the top of the wheel where it's currently oriented, and the runes are very self-explanatory for the most part, that all 4 of you instantly can kind of be like, oh, okay, I get it. Like it's general activation, deactivation, and then it looks like something to scale the power as far as you know. Mm-hmm. It's not in a language per se, but the runes are evocative of like fire and an increase in like air.
It's like a pictogram situation.
It's kind of a pictogram situation. Like it's definitely unique and it's very artistically done, like to build into the theme of the beautiful ship, but it seems like something you all would figure out for the most part. The sails and stuff though, they're normal sails, so everything's rigged up and all the sails are up, but everything's roped and rigged. That piece you actually have to do, but there is the added benefit of power, as Kovita was talking about. So yeah, you get a tour of the ship, and as I believe Vander was saying, plans for last night in Orishire is up to you, kind of thing. You have plans.
Mm-hmm. You should pick your room first. That's what I say.
Cool. I will pick the first one I see and be like, this looks nice.
Well, because the way that it's laid out is you go down the stairs and there's rooms on opposite sides, rooms on opposite side, the galley, and a room across from the galley. So
What is
you
the
could
galley again?
The kitchen.
the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah. but it's set up in a long row like that. So rooms facing each other, 2 rooms facing each other, 2 rooms facing each other. A room that's kind of off kilter to the side, like it almost has a little hallway that curves around a bit. The hallway is like a T-junction at the end, and then the galley's over here. There's not actually a place to. There's not a mess. There's not a general area where you'd think people would convene and eat. So most likely they were imagining people would like eat in the galley. There is like a small kitchen table in there with multiple seats. Not super comfortable. Like there's not a banquet table. There's not like a big place like when you guys were on Sykes' ship. So maybe they thought people would eat in the galley. Maybe they thought people would be eating in their rooms or up on the deck kind of thing. But that is a weird feature of the ship, is there's not like a dedicated meal or communal space.
It's not like a huge ship either, so probably just got cut.
Yeah. So you can pick any of those rooms if there's a particular draw.
First on the right from the stairs.
First on the right from the stairs. I will take a note from that. So that Cass goes ahead and claims that as her room. All the doors have intricate locks on them as well. Might want to ask somebody about the keys because you don't have any keys so far, but there are locks that can be locked from the inside.
One with the kind of weird hallway.
You'll take the one down by the galley?
A little bit more private.
Yep.
For the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a yeah. You have a bit of privacy. Like if somebody walked down the stairs and you were standing at the door for that one, they can't see you. They'd have to walk a bit they'd have to walk past the two sets of room to see you. So
Gives
some
me a few
privacy.
moments to change my form.
Yep. So you can do that at the galley.
Captain,
What?
your choice.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
God, this is
Tried to avoid authority for so long.
Fine, whatever, and just takes the room across the hall from Cass's.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll take the one closest to the kitchen.
Well,
Like the one-
but so there's
you're probably
so-
neighboring me then.
Okay, yes. that
yeah,
works.
neighboring
I can
Sonny.
trade. I don't care.
And Cass would have followed Gaspard casually.
What?
When Gaspard was going to look at their room.
Oh,
Cass would
okay.
just like wander down.
Looking around. All the rooms are the exact same size and the exact same contents so far. You can of course customize them and everything else. Doesn't look like there's any enchantments or anything much of note other than the very nice bed sheets and pillows. But yeah, so you guys have your ship. You have control over it. You get to figure out what you're going to name it. Vander has a date tonight. You guys are probably leaving in the morning. You still have to get Rowan the information on Matilda before the morning, which shouldn't be too much. You have some plans in the morning for Covita and the rest of the guards that you've come to know at the keep. Anything that you're going to try and do with this evening, or anything you guys are going to do right now before we wrap up?
Well, with following Gaspard.
Yes, yeah.
Are you feeling better after Covita's speech?
I mean, it's just a little awkward, but yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think so. I think it's helped me. I'm trying not to be impulsive, like really hard.
That's good. We need to know what we're doing, have to have plans, remember that we are making progress. But we are going to save as many people as we can.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're on our way to Quandir.
And I promise you, we're going to save most of them. Or I will die trying.
See, that kind of goes against what we were just talking about.
But that's what I'm doing.
I don't.
Literally my job and what I'm sworn to.
It's nice to be reassured that we're not responsible for all this, but I don't think any of us were capable of not doing that. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No. We are caring. And we're going to save our friends. And we're going to find our family.
Yeah.
Hold in there. And Gio's okay.
So is Vespi.
Thank you.
Actually,
Yeah.
I'm actually certain Vespi's okay.
Why?
Magic stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No questions. All right.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'll take it. I need a win.
All right. Well, anything else before we close? Were you going to send any sendings with the scrolls before we close tonight? Because it
That's
sounds
what
like
I've been
you guys are
trying
going to.
not to do the entire end of the session. So no, I'm
Are you
gonna.
sure you're not going to send any sendings?
We will
Bait,
we
bait,
will
bait, 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 bait.
reconvene.
Say what?
We will reconvene.
God damn it. Okay.
Can't cliffhanger.
Can't trick him. Oh, giving the DM a cliffhanger. You don't want to talk to Talwyn. You're
I
not
want
dying
talk
to
to
hear that
Talon
voice.
so bad it hurts.
You're not want to hear that voice inside your head as he terrifies you from afar.
Cowboy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You didn't meet him.
Oh, you never met Talwyn, did you? Well, he's a fun character.
Oh my god.
The dice come out.
I mean, Sonia's suggestion once she's done inspecting her room is just going to be like, so are we going to go to a tavern or...
Yes, we are.
I will see you guys later tonight.
Okay, so 50 and below, I do it in my room in private, saying, "Oh fuck it," Cass says we're gonna die trying. We're gonna die trying. Anything above 50, you guys walk into my room and hear me like preparing this sending message in my head.
Okay.
Like, "Dear Talon,
Okay, go for it.
that is a 6."
Also, I said I was dying trying, not you. I've also sworn to keep you alive.
So 6 was I do it right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
privately.
Yeah.
Considering it's about the end of the session now.
Yep.
Great
So
cliffhanger.
been a while. Meow, you little bitch.
Been a while. Oh, you brought it back! You brought the meow back!
Or you're just giving yourself away immediately.
Okay.
Well, does
That's
he-
it.
Talwyn
That's it.
know?
That's it.
I can
Talwyn
send it
knows they
again.
got turned into a cat.
I thought Talon turned me into a cat.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Nope. So that's what you just send that to Talwyn.
Yeah, with the same persona of when I met Talon, everything.
Okay. We're gonna end on that then. So, so you send a message. You send that lovely message, amazing message to Talwyn. Sonny had asked if you're all going to a tavern. Cass said yes. So I assume that the three of you will probably head out to a tavern. You're going to meet up with them later in the evening. Plenty of different taverns that you've come to know in town. So we'll kind of call that the end of the session tonight. And then we'll pick up next week, Sunday, same time, same channel, same place. Thank you all so much for coming over to Mythical Family and the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern tonight and joining us for our episode. I see a lot of lovely faces, usernames in chat, and it's great to see everybody. Great to see the community and the interaction and stuff. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you get to come back next week and keep watching us. And yeah, make sure that you check Mythical Family out on our socials. Come join our Discord if you haven't and hang out with us big nerds. If you're in Nevada or the Nevada area or willing to travel, remember RageCon. We're going to be at RageCon later this year, June 30th to July 2nd. If you want to come play board games and TTRPGs with us and a lot of our local creator friends and awesome people in general, consider it. But we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the night, and I'm going to think a lot about all these little plot threads and the way that message just got sent to a major NPC for the rest of my night. So
Was he a major NPC?
I
feel like he was that
don't know.
important. I mean,
Not a big
frankly.
deal. Not a big deal. Not at all. But hope all of you out there have an amazing night, an amazing week, and we will see you next week. So bye for now. And we're going to raid someone. If you stay around for just a second so we can look at some other awesome community members, stick around for a few minutes, give them some views, and you might have just discovered another new favorite creator of yours. So hang out for just a minute if you can, and let's go ahead and send a raid.
No!
Oops.